Hello everyone and welcome to Whiskey Wednesday. Today I've got a bit of a bee in my bonnet, but I'm not going to go on too much about it because I really want to talk about this whiskey because I don't think the channel's ever covered it. Highland Park 12. We have already released Whiskey of the Year, and I always feel bad about those videos because it's always like some really obscure release. Although in saying that, this year was probably the most obscure release. In the past we've done like Glen Scotia Port Cask, which is easier to get hold of. We did Woodford Rye on the first year, so that's really easy to get hold of. And something else in between, which I've sort of forgotten what it was, so apologies for that. But this is still able to be picked up for less than £40 a bottle. It's all natural colour. It is chill filtered, but that's not too much of a problem really at that price point. And it's got a really cool story behind it, a really cool heritage. And last year, 2019, I bought more bottles of this than any other whiskey. So in theory, this was my most inexpensive whiskey of the year. The average I paid for a bottle of this was about £35. So it's really very affordable in today's current climate by quite a long way. A few facts about Highland Park. Isle of Orkney, pretty barren landscape. The distillery geographically is 3 miles further north than Moscow, so it is getting into those colder territories. Not easy to grow things there, like it is very kind of absent of trees and most regular available flora and fauna and things like that. But nonetheless beautiful in its own way. I've not been up there, but would love to someday. It brothers Scapa, which is in Scapa Flow towards the southeastern part of the island, whereas these guys are just based outside of Kirkwall, which is the capital of the island. The great facts about this, and I'm not going to mention the number because I think people get hung up on the number. This is peated to a much higher level than what I think you think it is. Obviously the ppm scale of smoke starts at 0, currently peaks at like 309 because of the Octomore 8.3 a couple of years ago. This is higher than what people think it is by quite a significant degree, but not all the whiskey that goes into this is peated. Only 20% of the whiskey in this bottle in this batch is peated. 80% of it uses unpeated barley. And one of the reasons I love Highland Park 12 and the 18 and a few others in the range is because it's balanced. The smell always gives me like coffee and honey. It's kind of sweet and earthy. A little bit of smoke pulls through. It's a bit barbecue-like. It's not overly medicinal. A lot of people don't like the new packaging. I quite like the new packaging. Subtlety is fun in whiskey, and the old one was really understated. Just had that kind of orange stripe going along the side of it on the horizontal. Whereas now you've got all these kind of graphics, and they love their Viking heritage. I know they release loads of bottles that go on about it, but 1 in 3 people on the Isle of Orkney can trace their heritage back to Vikings. So it's very important for that community and for that distillery, founded by Magnus Eriksson, who's the descendant of Vikings, pretended to be a priest, made whiskey underneath the altar, scared the taxman off by pretending to place a plague. Really cool character, and that's what the Dark Origins bottle was named after a couple of years ago. So there's a lot of fun to this product. This particular whiskey and the Highland Park 12 in general, it's mostly like good 90% plus of it's matured in sherry casks, but it's American oak. So it's cleaner, it's lighter, it's not as dirty as some of those European oak casks where it gets kind of funky and astringent. Cleaner, lighter, much more consistent. And that's Highland Park's thing, it's consistency. Does it taste good on a regular level? I've never had a bad bottling of this. I've never had a bad batch of it. Same with the 18. I wasn't drinking whiskey when the 18 was like 75, 80 pounds a bottle. I've only ever known it as a £100 bottle of whiskey, so the pricing doesn't put me off at all with Highland Park 18. It's what I'm used to with it. But this is just delicious. Hopefully I've kind of rambled on enough for you right now. But we'll taste it, we'll smell it. We'll just kind of tell you why I think it's really good and one of the most consistent 12-year-olds you can buy. So we'll smell it first. It's like smelling a hot toddy, right? I know power persuasion is a thing, so if you are drinking this while you watch this video, for me it's like lemon, honey, bit of coffee. It's got like a nice tea leaf thing going on with it. Earthy but sweet, not overly powerful. Smoke lingers in the background, but it's not Lafroig, it's not Lagavulin, it's not Ardbeg. It doesn't deliver its flavour through smoke, it delivers its flavour through the use of this malted and unmalted barley and this beautiful influence of American cask, which have had sherry in them. And you get that, there's a little bit of a chocolatiness on the nose, quite appley, very like a Glendronach, obviously not as rich, but it has Glendronach elements to it. Arguably, I would love a cask strength version. 12-year-old cask strength would be all over that. So Highland Park, if you are watching, I would buy it. I don't know about everyone else in the world, but I would buy a cask strength version of this in a heartbeat. But a beautiful nose of lemon, honey, coffee, There's bits of sherry coming through of like raisin, milk chocolate, etc, etc. And just a little bit of smoke in the background. Wraps it all together, gives you a beautiful balance of flavour. But we're going for the taste. And before we do go in, I think I've already said it, but this is a natural coloured product. I think a lot of people assume it contains E150 because it's a biggish brand, but it is 100% natural colour. So let's give it a go. Literally covers like the whole flavour rainbow, the whole arc, the whole graph, however you picture it in your head. Starts off sweet. A little bit of chocolate. I can still taste the chocolate now, but it's like moving into like kind of dark chocolate, bitter coffee thing towards the finish. But the start is milk chocolate, lemon, like lemon zest. It's really bright. It's quite colourful. And then as you get to like mid-palate, mid-tongue, these things turn slightly more savoury. It gets to that tea leaf kind of thing. Darker roasted coffee, darker chocolate, like cocoa bean. Honey, but honey in like a medicinal sense, like a drambuie or like a honey and ginger liqueur. Just really well put together, like basic building blocks of whiskies make sure your product's consistent. And there's only 2 other whiskies that I would argue are as consistent as this on the market. I won't say what they are though, that's for another video. But one more taste and then we'll score it and we'll see what you all think. And then one thing I forgot to mention was the smoke. It doesn't dip its toe into being medicinal. It's not really barbecuey like other sort of Highland smoke peats are. All the peat that is used to peat Highland Park is sourced from the island itself, which obviously gives it that more distinct flavour profile. Again, it's not outsourced from anywhere. I believe the only thing that's outsourced are the barrels and the unpeated barley, which comes from very famous barley malters in Berwick upon Tweed. But those are the only 2 things that are outsourced. Everything else is done on the island. And the smoke itself, it does just bring everything together. I can kind of taste lemon on this side, honey on this side, the richness of chocolate going down the middle. There's coffee kind of getting up to my nasal cavity. It's not a nice word, is it? Cavity. Apologies for using that word. But it all just wraps it together, and then the smoke is slightly bittersweet, adds a bit more of a savoury note to everything. It's just lovely. And no matter if you buy it from a specialist shop, if you buy it from a supermarket, if it's in there, you can pick this up for below £40. And the only whiskey which matches that in my mind currently is Kilkerran in terms of consistency and how good it is for below 40 quid. I put this next to it. Very personal, so if you don't agree, that's fine. Obviously that's what this channel is all about, creating a conversation and me throwing my opinion down your throat, whether or not you agree with it. In terms of scoring, I'm going to give it a solid 8. Some of you are going to disagree, totally fine. But I love it so much, and hopefully some other you guys in the comments might love it as much as I do. But this is pretty much a love letter to Highland Park. If you don't like design, fine. A bottle is a bottle. It's not going to affect the flavour. Just taste it, because it still tastes good. It always will taste good. But yeah, I think that's enough for me now. So Highland Park 12, 8 out of 10. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you all next week.